tiny seed. We watch it blossom into life.
Let's go to Tony and Tina Robinson.
Hello. So first, I want to say hello to Carol, and I just want to let you know that I've been praying for you, and Tina's been praying for you, and I'm just glad to be here. I'm going to let Tina say her own hello to you.
Hi, Carol, and hi, Mark. Thank you so much for asking us, and we are so sorry, and we are praying for you, and we'll continue to pray.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start first. Both Tina and I are going to have some words to say, and so I'll start first. But what I want to do is just talk about a few moments, a few memories that I had of Brad, and one of the best memories I've had is a teaching that him and I did together called Dueling Seat Seat. It's really funny because him and I had some conversations over the phone about teaching together, and I said, we need to do something, where Brad and I approached the scripture from different point of view. He went into the word study, into the Hebrew, really dissecting a word and then bringing forth the teaching from that. Whereas I do themes. I look at, chiastic structures and things like that. So it was pretty amazing. I heard him teach one time about seat, and it was amazing because the final conclusion is that seat is all about our fruit and our fruitfulness in the kingdom. Okay, and so he did that though by breaking down the word seat in the Hebrew. Well, I came to the same conclusion because in Numbers 14 there's a chiastic structure, and through the connections in the chiastic structure, I came to the same conclusion because the seat hanging from the sides of our clothes, they are thematically connected to the fruit that the spies brought back that was hanging on the two poles. So we got this crazy idea that we would do a teaching where him and I would be antagonistic against each other's point of view of approaching the scripture, and we did as a boxing match. And we had Marcy Najat was the announcer. We had a bell ring, and with each round, we would come out and we would teach from our point of view, and we'd be antagonistic against the other's point of view. But in the end, we came to the same conclusion. So it was just a lot of fun. It was complete with the Rocky theme and everything. So it was really, really nice. Another memory I had of Brad was a Texas tour that we did. I met him in Texas. He was driving, and it was like having my own personal comedian with me. It was just amazing. I mean, him and I, we traveled in that car for hours and hours, and you guys, everyone has talked about his humor. It's just amazing. How much fun and laughter he would bring. But I thought I had my own personal comedian. But there's one thing I want to tell you guys about Brad that maybe not too many of you guys know this. But now remember, this is early 2000s, so we didn't have so many laws about talking on the phone while driving, etc. But there were a number of times where he would call Carol to talk to her while he was driving. And he could not talk on the phone and drive a car. I was like, dude, you got to pull over now. You need to stop because I want to make it home to my wife.
Our son was there too, right?
Yeah,
Sean.
it was crazy. He would try to drive, and Carol, and it was like. So I can say that was the one weakness that my brother Brad had. But Tina and I, we also had the experience of spending a Shavuot with Brad and Carol in the Netherlands a few years ago. So we were invited there along with Michael Ben David. Yeah, he did the worship. And it was just a beautiful time that Tina and I got to spend with Brad and Carol alone. One of the things that I want to say, so those are some of the memories I've had. I want to say that Brad, he was so secure in himself in Messiah. And I think that his security in himself allowed him to be real and allowed him to be just who he was. And he was who he was. I mean, Brad, what you saw is what you got. and what you got was something good. So I really appreciated that about him. The other thing is that Brad was always promoting other ministries, and I never needed to go to his website to see what his teaching itinerary was because he would promote Restoration Torah Ministries. And just about everywhere he'd go, he'd say, hey, you need to invite Tony Robinson to come teach on blah, 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 blah. So I always knew where he was teaching because a week or two later, someone would give me a call and say, hey, could you come and teach? Brad was here and he was talking about you. The last thing I want to mention is that Tina and I, we are in the process of releasing a full-length album that we'll probably be releasing this winter. And the title song is called The Sign of the Messiah. And even before Brad had passed away, I had told Tina that I was going to dedicate that song to him. I'm going to dedicate each song on the album to someone. So I'm dedicating that song to him. And since his passing, I'm going to dedicate the entire album to him as well as that song. And I was blessed because before he passed, I was able to speak to him and Carol, and he was able to listen to some of the songs that are going to be on the album. So, Tina, you want to say some words?
I just wanted to just remember some positive things about Brad. Of course, everything was positive, but when we would go to conferences, we would come into the hotel and we would see Brad, and he always had this determined look on his face, and I hated to interrupt him, but we saw him so little, being teachers, you'd think we'd know him really well, we know Carol really well, but we saw them very infrequently. But I wanted to say hi to him. So I would go up there, and of course, he would give me, he would greet me, and he would always ask me right away, how's your daughter doing? Our daughter went through a very hard bunch of years, and it just touched my heart that a man as busy as he was with so many things going on and so many people that he would remember our daughter. Another memory I have of Brad is when we were in Chicago, Tony and Brad and other people, I don't know who, because that's so long ago, taught at this conference called Restoration. And Brad was teaching, and you know how you're in those ballrooms, and the ballroom next to it, they were doing a sound check. Okay, and I don't know if I think they were doing a wedding, or there was a wedding. Yeah. And so they were doing a sound check, and they started playing this music, like disco music or something, and Brad just, broke into like a John Travolta dance, and it was almost as though it was part of his program. It was just so funny. But seriously, I think some of the greatest things that we learned from Brad, because, Brad he taught all of us. I remember Tony listened to every single CD, or I don't know, was it a cassette tape that Brad did on that Bereshit series. And my children, they would listen to him at conferences. They loved him. Mm-hmm. And so not only did Brad teach us Hebrew and all those other things he taught us, but he taught us what was really important in life, and that was to love each other and to be patient with one another. And he taught us what was important. I don't know if you saw the memorial that HRN did, but they showed a clip when he was playing Satan. I don't know, do you guys remember that? We all laughed, but Brad was serious, wasn't he, Carol? Yeah, he was serious because, Carol, you can speak on this, but I know it broke his heart that people fought about stupid things. They fought about the calendar, how to say the name, and all these other things, and it brought so much division in the movement. And I know that, as other people have talked before on this show, that Brad loved everyone, and he wanted unity, and he wanted us to focus on the important things. And I would say that if that's something that we could remember about Brad and carry with us, that's probably one of the most important things.
It's like Brad said, Hasatan would not have a ministry if we didn't participate in all his garbage.
Absolutely, yeah. So yes, and so with that, we just want to thank you guys for asking us to spend this time here to tell you guys about our thoughts about Brad, and so we're just blessed. And again, Carol, we're praying for you, and hallelujah.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Thank you guys so much. Tell us your ministry website and anything else.
So it's www.restorationoftorahministries.com. .org. Restoration of Torah. I'm sorry, www.restorationoftorah.org.
Thank you, brother, so much, and thank you both. Just amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate a great word from both of you.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, we'll see you soon. Thanks.
A tiny seed, we watch it blossom into